Here we are going into Four Roses Distillery. Pretty cool looking. What do you think, buddy?
Pretty awesome. We're the first ones here, it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Durbin's Bourbon. I'm Joe.
And I'm Josh.
We're going to be doing a review, a continuation of our distillery tours. This particular bottle I purchased at Four Roses Distillery. It is a non-chill filtered, particular batch, small batch, 104 proof. The different yeast strains. The unique thing about Four Roses is they use several different yeast strains depending on their batch of whiskey that they're going to make. There's like an OSBV or whatever the case is. They have a whole bunch, which you can see on their website. I don't want to do them a discredit and blow up a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they all stand for something, the words, but we can't remember what they were.
Right.
We were too excited to drink their whiskey.
Right, and I didn't take enough pictures to really get that information.
But they were, in the tour, they went into detail of what these different strains, you know, some are more fruity, some are more, you know,
peppery
yeah,
or some are more, yeah,
well, I guess it's on
floral.
there. Spicy, full
Right.
body, you know.
Right.
Anyways.
So the different varieties have different yeast strains which are characteristic of floral or fruit or pepper or whatever the case is, which leads to a little bit of a discussion on how important yeast is to bourbon flavor. Josh and I both had really no concept of how important yeast. We're thinking, oh, just throw some bread yeast or daddy yeast.
Yeast is yeast. That's
Distiller's yeast. It is so far from that. These yeast strains that these distilleries use go back 50, 60, 70, 80 years, and they keep that same yeast strain so that their bourbon or their whiskey maintains a consistent flavor profile, because yeast adds your floral compounds. It adds flavor to that finished product over and above after it's aged in the barrel. So yeast is a big deal to these big whiskey companies, which was something that we learned when we did the tour.
Right. And it's funny, you do all these tours, and there a lot of the stuff's similar, right? Because bourbon has to be made a certain way. But every tour you do, there's some little nugget that you didn't know. You always learn something from each distillery.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
that's true.
Because you go through them, and you know, you think, oh, it's just another tour, but there's something different in each one. Either it's their history, or like with the Four Roses and their yeast strains they use. So they're just, I mean, I would visit them all if I could, just to see.
Over again.
Yeah,
over and over again.
And Four Roses, we had a really great tour guide. Can't remember your name, I'm sorry. She was wonderful. And then the people there were great. We just had a really good experience at Four Roses. And
yeah.
When you have something like that, it makes the whiskey taste better, I think.
Absolutely. You do, because you build that rapport with them, and we told them about the show, and they're like, actually, one of the tour guides, the gentleman, there was two ladies and a gentleman that were the three folks.
I don't remember any of their names.
And I'm so
we'll put a picture.
angry.
There'll be a picture up if it already hasn't been.
It will be in the beginning, but so you can go back and see them. they were fantastic, and I ran back and chatted with them a little bit about our channel and our show, and the one tour guide, he's already subscribed to the channel and has commented on some of our videos. If you're following on Instagram, which you should be, they're just fantastic people. They're so personable, so knowledgeable, and so friendly and genuine. It's not like they're doing it because, oh, this is my job.
Right.
They're doing it because they have a genuine passion for what they do, and they like to share that knowledge with people coming in the front door.
Yeah.
So you just can't get that anywhere else in the nation.
And the distillery is cool because it's a Spanish style, which you don't see in
Correct.
Kentucky.
Yes.
So it kind of stands out. It's just, the whole thing was super cool.
It was. And they make great product.
Yep.
They have multiple different types. They have a single barrel. They have small batch. They have the regular
old
Four
yellow label.
Roses,
It's not
old yellow label
anymore.
Yeah. That used to be shipped overseas only, and now it's brought back to the States. So this particular variety is a non-chill filtered, which appeals to Josh and I because we're big on non-chill filtered, because you are able to transfer all those compounds that would be the fatty acids and everything that would be strained out at that chill filtration. When they drop the whiskey at a really cold temperature, it pulls out those fatty compounds. Well, when it's non-chill filtered, those of you that understand that process as well, you know that you're getting it as its truest form. So you're getting every compound that's available from the yeast strain and the corn mash bills and the rye and the wheat or whatever, the barley. It's all in there. Nothing's
straight
been
out of the
pulled
barrel,
out.
basically.
Absolutely. So you get a lot more in that tasting profile. So we're going to go to the nose on this. Color-wise, good color.
I can't remember. Do you remember the year-ish? It's got to be 6 to 8 years, I would say.
6 to 8 probably. It has that good characteristic,
Nice
that
and
dark
dark,
color. Yep. Legs on it.
The nose is incredible.
Let's see what the legs are. Fairly slow, so I would expect that it might linger on the palate for a little bit.
As it should, being a non-chill filter, because
Right.
there's no oils in it.
Correct. So those fatty acids, those fatty compounds are going to stick and linger on the palate, so you're going to be able to retain that flavor. When we say linger, for those of you that are new to the channel, kind of new to whiskey tasting, it just means it's going to stick around. So after you swallow it, you're going to be able to enjoy that flavor a little bit longer. Some of the nuances, maybe the orange or the vanilla or the caramel or the orange or the citrus.
Or the pepper.
It's just going to hang out for a few more moments longer than just a short finish. So you have a long finish, a medium finish, and a short finish. So let's see what the nose has for us.
I get lots of caramel.
I've got caramel too, and I've got orange.
Yep. A lot of citrus.
A lot of citrus. And that
Not
could
a
be...
whole lot of barrel char.
No.
Well, no, it's there.
There's a little bit of barrel.
But it's more
Citrus.
citrus and sweet.
And that could be from the particular yeast
Right.
strain.
I wish I would have taken a picture of that.
Yeah.
They had it written out what they were.
And like here, I'll give you all just what I can see. 6 recipes of 4 Roses, small batch select.
So that's what's in here.
Yeah. That's a OBSV, and it talks about delicate fruits, pear, apricot, spice. OBSK, rich in spiciness or full-bodied. OBSF, and that's minty, fruity, spicy, full body. OESV, delicate fruit, fresh and creamy. And then OESK, spicy, full body. And OESF, minty, fruity, and full body. So that's the different recipes with the yeast strains that they use. You buy a bottle, you're going to get this cool little thing that's going to tell you about the history. And Brent Morris, I think it is Brent, is it? Yep, Brent Elliott, sorry. Brent Elliott is the master distiller there.
You're thinking Chris Morris at
I was
Woodford?
at Woodford, correct. So it talks about their yeast strains and what those different yeast strains impart in that whiskey, which I had no idea made such a critical difference in
it's crazy.
taste profiles.
It's got a lovely nose.
It's very smooth and fruity, caramely.
Yeah, that citrus
some
really
orange
pops.
and citrus.
Orange peel.
Yep, for sure.
Interesting.
It's very
I know I liked it at the
approachable.
distillery. I think I bought the same bottle. I think I had it at home.
Yep. During the tasting, one cool fact, if you all go to Kentucky and you do the distillery tours, at the end of every distillery tour, you get a sampling of their flagship bourbons.
They usually throw something like that in. Like most of them, I was surprised, had some pretty good bourbons.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they'll have their signature one, but then they
they'll throw
something you don't normally get.
Relatively rare.
Yeah.
This is available fairly nationwide. We bought this in the distillery because in our area, we're in a liquor control state, and our state is quite strict on what it decides is going to become available.
Strict or dumb.
Yeah, let's say dumb. So this is what's called a rare whiskey release. You have to put in for a lottery and all that crap with everybody else, and you're likely not going to get it.
Never win.
Josh and I were like,
I just got denied. We had to put in for the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection and the Pappy Van Winkles, and you put in the lottery. I've never won one.
Right.
Just get that email.
It's just,
don't be disappointed.
Don't be discouraged.
Yeah, discouraged.
You'll try next year, you loser. So our state is weird that way. On a upscale note or a good note, you pay suggested retail.
Yeah.
So if you do win, you're going to pay what the distillery decides is the fair market price for it. So that is cool if you can ever win.
Can get it.
So we knew what we were going into when we got to the distillery. We saw these. We're like, our state's going to probably do a whiskey release. We're never going to see it. We'll never win. Let's just buy them. So Josh and I both bought a bottle and brought them home with us for y'all to see and experience some of the characteristics of a product that you may not be able to get. If you can get it, I've already cheated and opened it and I tried it, so I think you should get it. I'm sure he agrees.
I agree.
But good nose. We already talked about the citrus. Not a lot of vanilla.
No, but caramel.
Yeah. Oh,
Sweetness.
yeah. Caramel.
I guess it's like a sweetness and then citrus. It's pretty much dominant.
Yeah, I'd say the
caramel and like an orange
and
peel.
The orange peel is probably on the forefront of the nose.
I can't remember what their mash bill was. I think they said it, didn't they? I don't know if it's got a whole lot of rye.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm ready to try it though.
It's interesting.
You ready?
Mouth is watering. All right, we're gonna go to the palate, see what we got. We gave you all some nose notes. We'll go some palate notes. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. That's got a good finish.
I've got some alcohol up front. It's only 104 proof, right? Yeah. 104 proof. For me, that kind of hit me off guard.
That was hot.
That's pretty hot. Did you think so too?
The second one.
The
first one I didn't. The first one I got a lot of good flavors, and the second one got me.
I went in for a second pretty quickly, and it was pretty spicy. But that caramel note and the citrus note was very forward on the palate. I'm going to go in for a third.
Finish, I don't get... On the finish, I don't get a whole lot of that rye pepper finish.
No. It's kind of up front.
The rye?
For me, yeah. I've got the
orange. Yeah, it gets sweeter as it goes. The orange.
The orange and the rye kind of blend up in the front palate for me.
Yeah.
Then mid palate.
I almost get butterscotch.
Yeah. There's some butterscotch kind of mid. For me, mid palate.
Yep. The end is usually for me,
is where
the end is usually the rye, but I'm not getting it. I'm getting sweetness. Like it's coating my palate. Yeah, like floral sweetness. The citrus and the floral kind of go together a little bit for me, but I'm not getting. You're right. I get the heat in the initial.
Yeah, the heat's up front,
which is weird.
That is usually the heat's kind of mid to back palate when you swallow. Yeah. So for whatever it's worth, the yeast in this particular batch, the alcohol content, the orange and the spice and the citrus, not a lot of oak. You getting any oak?
A little bit.
I didn't.
Yeah, a little bit. Like after you hit that initial heat, I get oak and then all that sweetness.
So let's see.
That's what I just got on that last sip.
There's
a lot going on in there. I like
that. It's
that.
very complex. Yeah. Boy, that nose is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to see if we can pick up some oak in here, folks.
Yeah. Wish I could do drum roll. No oak.
Initially, yeah, you can pick up some char, but the heat for me is dominant.
The heat's gone for me now.
Really, the heat for me is up front. That orange zest is pretty dominant.
So much citrus, man. It must be that strand.
And
when Joe was reading off the yeast strands, like the OBSV, those all stand for something, which we can't remember obviously, and we didn't take a picture of. But if you do the tour, they go over all that, and this is why this is fruity, and this is why this is that, which is it was super interesting. It was pretty in depth.
It was
for their recipe. A lot of them, there's some that won't even tell you their mash bill.
Yeah, they won't.
Like it's a big seat.
I think yeast, the way the distilleries, they talk about their mash bills like 56% corn, 13% rye, so much barley, but where they really are secretive is on their yeast strains.
Yes.
Like when we did a tour at Wild Turkey, they had the jugs of the yeast strains that were going to be used, and they were like little gallon jugs sitting in there, and that's what they were going to inoculate the mother, which is going to be the big vat where they pour like 150 gallons into this 60,000 or 30,000 gallon vat of mash. That's the secretive stuff that's been passed down since the 1940s or whatever.
Most of them are all sour mash, so they're throwing some of the old stuff
some of the old is going back in for sour mash.
The percentage was really low.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? Someone would tell you the percentage of the sour mash. I thought it was way more of the tail or whatever they used, not tails, but the old
last batch going in to build that consistency.
But they do use it to get the yeast going.
Sure. So the yeast, the old sour mash and the new blends together, and it develops that taste profile.
Like we almost know what we're talking about.
Almost.
All the think juice.
It is. The more, the better. To a degree. Let's back that trolley up.
We'll be turning people into alcoholics.
Four Roses, though, they have a great profile. A great distillery. Yes. Josh and I had a great time at the tour. As you all noticed at the beginning of the video, you got to see a little bit of pictures, which we put in there for you all to see before you got to the actual tasting. So you got to see a little bit about the folks. There's that picture and stuff that y'all saw of the three tour guides and everything. Yep. And great product, great whiskey, consistent, great distiller. I think the way the folks talk to you when you're there, when you walk in the front door. I mean, you walk through the front door at Old Forester or Evan Williams or Bullet, any of them. But Four Roses in particular, we walk through the door and the first thing out of their mouth is, "How y'all doing? Are you here for a tour?" And they've got that distinct Kentucky accent, and it just makes you feel at home and
welcome.
Yeah. And they're genuine. They're not there because they're getting a paycheck and they're just, I'm going to vomit this stuff out because I have to.
Probably like the paycheck.
Probably. but they're very genuine.
Even if they're not, they act like they are.
Yeah, if they're, if they're acting, like,
they make you feel
get,
very welcome. All the distilleries.
Absolutely. Cool. If they're not acting, they should get an Academy Award because it's very convincing. Yeah. It's very true and personable. So we had a great experience at Four Roses. Yep. We learned a lot. Our tour guide
got to taste the mash.
Got to walk us through the process, and we got to see the white dog. It was just an incredible overall experience.
Yeah. And every, like we've talked about in other videos, but every distillery has a certain thing that's, you know, like they have some historical fact that's just cool, you know.
Right.
I mean, I can't remember what theirs. They had like a fountain, remember, for they had.
Oh yeah, where the women
worked back when, you know, whatever was it World War II?
Possibly.
Or was it after that? It might be after that. It might be.
Right.
Don't quote me on this, but they had where the women, they went out for lunch. Was it?
Yeah, and they would collect rocks.
Yeah, so they built this whole fountain.
Right.
It was really cool.
It was. And so that when they took their breaks,
they'd have something
they
pretty
could
to look
go
at.
out there and sit there and look at this little fountain that they had created from the natural springs, because all of Kentucky uses limestone water, which builds low in iron, high in calcium.
Low iron, right? It filters out all the
low iron, high calcium.
And magnesium.
Which makes good bourbon.
And good horses.
And good horses. Kentucky Derby Day, May. You're going to see it. We'll do a video again.
We should do a video of us watching it.
We should.
Wings.
Betting and screaming, eating chicken wings. Great day.
I'm trailing off here. We probably should wrap this up.
Yeah. Four Roses. Great whiskey. All the varieties. Yeah, if you can get it, grab it. It is readily available. Your single barrel, your small batch, and the regular run-of-the-mill bottom shelf, they call it, Four Roses, is available nationwide for everybody to purchase. Prices are pretty reasonable. The yellow label is, good Lord, under $20.
It's like $21.95 or something.
Yeah. The small batch, you're looking around close to $30.
Yeah.
And the single barrel is going to be pushing up in the $50, like $40s to $60 for the single barrel, but you're getting a single barrel product.
Right. So and this one's non-chill filtered, which is awesome.
Right.
So if you can find it.
Right. And the price was $50 to $60 on this one. Right.
Something like that.
Something like that. So
pictures.
You do, you know, based on the product that you're purchasing, of course, they're going to have a certain premium price for it, depending on how much is available of that product, which makes sense. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button or the thumbs down and throw a comment, and we'll have some discussions about it. What didn't you like that we did? What did you like? What could we do to make the viewing experience for you better? We hope you all are drinking with us. That makes the experience so much fun.
And it makes us way more handsome if you're drinking.
Absolutely. Let's see. Good whiskey, thumbs up. All the Four Roses products are great.
Yeah.
Great company. Oh, yeah. I can't think of anything else. I thought I had something. But then it went away.
Yeah. It happens at your age.
It does. Remember, as always, enjoy your whiskeys and bourbons
any way you like.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, pal.